This is Eric with Curated Overland, and today we're chatting with Glenn, the owner of a 1971 Toyota FJ40 based out of Salinas, California. This car has been through a really nice restoration recently, including a rebuilt engine and new transmission and a lot of other stuff. And I look forward to Glenn telling us all about it. Glenn, thanks for taking a few minutes today. Maybe we could just start off with you just telling us a little bit about your ownership history with the car, and we can jump right in then into all the things that you did to this great looking FJ.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I've owned the car for about 5 years. Since I've owned the car, we've had the engine rebuilt. It's a stock Toyota F engine. We've added to that a Weber carburetor, the 38,
Hmm.
with an electric fuel pump and a fuel pressure regulator to maintain the proper pressure. We added power steering, the Saginaw power steering.
Hmm.
We included with the rebuild a brand new Toyota H55F and a split case transfer case, brand new from Toyota. That's what came stock in the FJ60s.
Right,
It has
right.
the stock suspension. It's not lifted. It does have coilovers in the back, which keep it level when it's loaded.
Mhm.
Have redone the dash. I have a aftermarket digital dash. Every instrument in the dash works and records as it should. The lights, the heaters, the vent valves, they all work. And that was a lot of work, believe it or not, to get all that stuff to work again. The wheels on the car are the stock 15 or 16-inch, I forget which, but they've been widened. They're wider than the stock wheel, so we get a little fatter tire on it. I have an aftermarket bumper, which is narrower and a little bit lighter than the factory bumper. It's got new carpeting, new sound deadening, new headliner, brand new Corbeau bucket seats, Tuffy console. I also have the reupholstered fold-down bench seats for the back. They aren't installed. I leave them out because I have more room when I go camping. I also have the factory tire carrier and a tire, which I don't have it installed. I just don't need to carry it around. It weighs over 100 pounds every day when I go driving.
Right.
If we go four-wheeling, I install it. But I don't install the bench seats or the jump seats because I like the extra space for camping gear.
Yep.
I think that's about all I've done. It has a new paint job.
Hey.
It was gone through uh, the I can't think of the word. Oh, the frame and underneath the car was all sandblasted and painted.
Mhm.
The car was painted underneath all around. I can't think of anything else. If
Yeah.
you have questions that you
Well,
need
you
to know, just let me have them.
you did all this under your ownership, right? Just over the last 5 years, give or take.
We did. The
Yeah.
car has about 3,050 miles on it, and it changes monthly because I drive it every week or 10 days
Great.
just to do an oil warm-up run.
Yeah.
And then come spring, my son and I, he also has an FJ40. We'll start camping with the grandkids again.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's great. That's great. It's a really, for those of you that are just listening to this, not looking at the video just yet, you got to check out the videos that we have. We also have videos of a walk around as well as drive by and the interior, and it's a really pretty truck. It's a very very good looking FJ40. The uh, I mean, I think so when you bought it, did you intend to go up to your shoulders in terms of completely redoing this, or was it something that
No,
how did you decide to do all this stuff?
it's the typical rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
While we're in there, let's do this.
Yeah.
While it's apart, let's replace that. And you don't know when to stop because it's so damn much fun.
Right.
It's
Right.
expensive, but it is fun.
Right. And have you
One thing I didn't mention that is a big deal to me. When I had the car sound deadened and carpeted and new headliner put in, the transformance, the transformation of the sound level in the car was staggering.
imagine?
The car is so quiet and rattle free, you won't think you're in an FJ40 when you drive it.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. That is my memory of being in an FJ40s is that it's a
It's a tractor.
yeah, it's a loud tractor kind of
Yeah.
experience.
And
Right.
this car is not. It's a nice driver.
Oh, that's great to hear. Oh, that's very good to hear. Okay, that's a really good one.
It gets
Uh-huh.
about 15 miles per gallon,
Okay.
highway and city combined. I
Okay.
get a little over 20, 18 to 21 at 55 or 60 going down the freeway. And in fifth gear, it'll cruise at 70 or 75 effortlessly.
That's great
I
to hear.
just don't like to drive it that fast. They weren't
Right.
ever intended to go that fast.
Yeah, indeed. 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 That's great. Is there anything, I mean, between the frame and the body and the interior and the engine, and the transmission and tires and suspension, is there anything left to do on this car? Is it, front to back, top to bottom, is it done in your opinion?
It's done. The only
Yeah.
thing that I might do long term, well, I know I will do long term, is I forgot to mention it has the factory drum brakes.
Mhm.
The next upgrade I will do is I'll convert it to disc brakes. They're just better brakes, easier to use all around. But I have not done that yet because the brakes work fine.
Yeah. Right.
It's just
Right.
disc brakes are better.
Yep. Yep. Okay, good. And you have drums all the way around on it right now,
All the
correct?
factory drums, and they are new.
Great.
The drums, the linings, the wheel cylinders, they're all new.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and I remember I reached out to you recently about a question that somebody had on the and I think you already mentioned it, but the disc brake on the split transfer case threw me for a loop there for a moment. So I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what am I looking at here? So I appreciate you pointing that out. Well, great. Well, it's a really pretty car, and it's obviously been both, I think, lovingly restored and used as it should be. So I love that you're still taking it out camping and having some fun in it. And we just chatted with someone recently about a vehicle and it was too nice to use kind of thing. And that's always a bummer, right? They
Well,
felt in their minds it was too nice to use. And I like that you're using
the
this.
last thing I'll add is since I did all this work to it just finished up the engine and transmission about a year and a half ago, and I have not yet been able to force myself to drive it in the mud. I just haven't been able to do it yet.
Uh-huh. Right. I can
There's so much
imagine.
work to get it clean, and I kind of like it clean.
Yes. Well, I imagine there's two things I imagine. So the mud as well as really narrow trails with some manzanita sticking out, I imagine maybe
And
isn't exactly where you're.
there are no trail pinstripes on it.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. That's good. I would have a hard time doing that as well. I'd have a
Yeah.
hard time doing that as well.
Long term, it will happen. I
I
just
hope
haven't
so.
been able to bring myself to do it yet.
Yep. Yep. All right. All right. Good. Well, my last, I guess I two last questions for you. People are always interested in why are you selling it? So why now? Another
Well,
project or what?
I'm a private pilot, and
Uh-huh.
sold my airplane about, I don't know, 4 months ago because I want to buy another airplane. I had a little Luscombe, little two-seater, and I
Hmm.
want to buy a four-seat 170. And I need a little more money to buy the airplane I want, so I'm selling
Yeah.
the Land Cruiser.
There you go. There you go. Airplanes and boats. You always need just that little
That's
bit
right.
more money. You always just need a
Yeah,
little bit more money
that's
to
right.
get what you want. So, all right, good. And then lastly, tell me just one of the more interesting experiences that you've had or fun memory that you had with this car, whether it was during the restoration itself or maybe on an adventure somewhere.
It was in my son's car, not this one. I left mine at the bottom of the hill, but before they closed it off permanently to the public, My son and I drove his 72 FJ40 up Lions back in Moab. And I
Cool.
can tell you, I have never been more scared in my life.
Wow. Wow.
Vietnam, flying emergencies, whatever you want to name, I've never been more scared in my life than
No
driving up to
kidding.
Lions back in Moab.
No kidding.
Halfway
Wow.
up, I was asking, why in the hell did we do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And sometimes you have those experiences when you're down, you're like, "Oh, I'm glad I did it." Are you still glad you
Well,
did it? Or
I am
right when
glad
you
I did it because I have nobody else can do it. They have closed it off to the public because it's so
Yeah.
dangerous.
Wow. Wow. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you survived to tell the tale. So how fun. That's very cool. That is very, very cool. Well, great. Well, Glenn, I appreciate you taking the time here, and hopefully, folks listening here will get a good idea of this beautiful FJ40 and the lovingly care that it's been in over the last 5 years with you. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, Heather, let's get it sold. I want to buy that airplane.
Indeed.
Check out this vehicle and many more at curatedoverland.com.